Joined us. Mary ma'am has joined us, ma'am.
No, ma'am. She hasn't joined it. I'll check.
One of you,
I'll go and check.
one of you, please. Yes, yes.
Sure,
yes,
sure, ma'am. I'll
yes.
go and check.
Hello.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'll just
Yes,
bring the
ma'am.
chair.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
If we can start the program, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Priyadarshini. Ma'am, thank you for accepting our invitation at the last minute invitation. I'm very sorry, ma'am.
Thanks, ma'am. It's okay, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay. Start.
The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them here today to build this event. With this note, I would like to give my warm greetings to all the dignitaries, guests, and delegates. We need your support to make this event more memorable and fantastic. I would like to invite Dr. M. Chandrasena Rajeswaran, our Honorable Head of the Department, to give the welcome address.
Yes. Thank you, Saranya, for introducing me to the audience. Happy good morning to everybody present here. I am immensely pleased to extend my warm welcome to the August gathering of the students, faculty, and our chief guest, Dr. Dhanasekaran Kesavalu, Madam Sri Devi, the bank manager of State Bank of India. So I'm really happy to welcome you all here. As in the outset, I would like to thank and welcome our patrons of the event, our Honorable Founder Chairman, Dr. A.C. Shanmugam, Engineer, and our Honorable President, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar, without whose support and patronship, nothing is possible in this university. I thankfully and happily welcome you both, sir. I welcome our enthusiastic and charismatic Joint Register HNS, Dr. Malini Pandey ma'am, for being with us this August moment. And I also accept my sincere thanks for her for accepting the invitation to deliver the special address in this forum. I also extend my welcome to our ever enthusiastic Vice Chancellor, Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi ma'am, and our ever smiling Registrar, Dr. C.B. Palnivelu, for their support in this program. The next and foremost welcome is given to our Joint Registrar, E&S, Dr. D.B. Jabarat, for the support he gives us in the E&S campus, and also to the other deans of the department for making this program a reality. Thank you very much for all of you to be here. And I also express my happiness at your presence, and I welcome you all to this meeting. Thank you. And the foremost and the last but not least, my welcome is surely should be given to our Dr. L. Ramesh, who is the spirit behind this program. Thank you, sir, for giving us this opportunity to organize this program. Thank you, sir. And welcome, I welcome you all. I welcome the gathering with wholehearted happiness and carefulness. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your wonderful welcome address. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Malini Pandey, ma'am, JRHNS, to give the special address of the event.
So, warm greetings to all of you. First of all, I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to the head of the department, English, Dr. Chandrasena, and her team, faculty team, for inviting me for today's program. What I saw in the program was something very different and unique from what I've seen in other programs. So it is a panel discussion where I see three different types of people from three different domains who have been called. So that is, I would like to first of all welcome our guests. We have Mr. Ravi Chandran, we have Dr. Dhanusekhar, and Mrs. Sridevi. So these three people I would like to thank first of all for coming to our university, not coming virtually to our university and sparing their valuable time. But I see that three of them are from different domains. So one is from the police department, another is from medicine, from the field of medicine, and the third is from the banking sector. I'm not sure if this was a deliberate thought of the department, but I would like to interpret it in this way, that I think the three departments represent something to do with COVID. And what do they represent? The police department have been the soldiers of the country at this tough time. Like we talk about the army jawans, when there's a fight in the border. The police department has kept the law and order going, kept the public aware of the rules and regulations, and kept stopping them from doing things that are not healthy at this time during these COVID times. So they've been really tirelessly working throughout this period while so many of us have been safe in our homes. The police team has been on the field so many times for long hours and done a commendable job in terms of maintaining the discipline and decorum that is required. Number two, very, very important. I think the medicine, the medical field, the medical fraternity. Wow, they are the foot soldiers. They are the generals. They are the commanders. They were just everything for us. Right from from those who are doing small tasks in hospitals, then the nursing community, and then the doctors. All of them have really risked their lives and their health and taken care of all of us during these tough times. So my salute to them. And third is we have a banker, somebody from a bank. How are they so relevant during this time? So I would say that the economy has gone through a turbulent time. The GDP growth rate has slipped like never before. Entrepreneurs have shut down their business. There have been so many bankruptcies, unemployment, and we all are looking at financial institutions for saving us. They could be the saviors. They are the saviors. And we hope that when the economy rebounds, the banking sector plays a tremendous role in terms of providing us the necessary finance, especially for small entrepreneurs, for startups, and for industries where they have been shut down for the last 1.5 years. They've really struggled. And without help from the financial sector, without help from the banks, it's very difficult for them to pull up. So I think they are going to play a very important role when we talk about GDP growth rate and reviving the economy. So it may be just symbolic that these three people have been called, but I would like to connect it with the big picture that in COVID times, they have played a tremendous role, and they are going to continue playing that role in the times to come. So a very good, I think, guest list today, and I hope we all learn a lot from them. Another thing that I would like to say is there is a quotation that we all, it's a common quotation we would have heard so many times: when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. These are tough times, and when we are going through tough time, we need to be resilient. We need to be strong. We need to be, we need to persevere in whatever way we are doing, whatever we are doing at that point of time. We need to have the ability to bounce back. So we have to toughen up to face these tough times. Second, I would like to just end with a small story, a very interesting story that I keep sometimes reminding myself. So there was an emperor who was very rich and obviously very powerful, successful, and he was able to conquer all the territories around him. And when he became very powerful and he was sitting on his throne, a sage in his empire gave him a gift. And the emperor was thinking, what is a gift that a sage can give to an emperor? What can he do? What can he give me that I don't have? He gave him a ring that had a stone which used to glitter when it will move. And when it will glitter, there's a small writing that was embedded on the stone. This too will pass. So when he looked at that ring, he realized what the sage was trying to tell him, that this success and this success and victory that you have is all transient and it may pass. We need to remember that. The same thing to that emperor, same thing happened to that emperor when he was fighting battles and he lost. And he lost all his territory and he was running away from the enemy and about to, he was thinking of committing suicide. He was standing atop a hill, just, preparing himself to jump down the hill. And that stone glittered. That stone glittered and he looked at it and it was written, this too will pass. And he remembered the teachings of that sage that whether it is a good time, whether it is tough time, everything passes. And when he saw this too will pass, he came back from that point and he again tried to rebuild his life and his empire and he was fine again. So what do we learn from this? That we are going through a very tough time, but this tough time will pass. Because when we think positively, when we think with this attitude, we get the energy to move forward in the right direction. With these words, I congratulate the department for organizing this program and I wish you all the best for today's panel discussion. Thanks a lot for inviting me today. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for being with us.
Thank you, ma'am, for your energetic special address. Now, I would like to invite our Dean, Dr. Mary Thomas, ma'am, to moderate this event.
Before that, introduce the chief guest, ma'am.
Okay.
Introduce the guest.
Oh, sorry. Now, I would like to introduce the chief guest.
Respected dignitaries present in this digital platform, faculty members, and my dear students, very good morning to all of you. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce you to the chief guest of today's panel discussion on this topic, Wonder Tools to Fight Against COVID-19. We are honored this morning by the presence of our chief guest. First of all, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Dhanasekar Kesavelu. He has done his MBBS at Government Mohan Kumaramangalam Medical College, Salem. He also holds membership of Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health from UK in 2005, Fellowship of Royal Challenge of Pediatrics and Child Health from UK in 2011, and Endoscopy Fellowship from Sheffield Children's Hospital 2011. He is now working as consultant pediatric gastroenterologist at Apollo Children's Hospital and Voluntary Health Service, Chennai. He is also an honorary tutor in School of Development and Reproductive Medicine at University of Liverpool, UK, and a teacher at Smart Academy of Membership of the Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health. Key opinion leader for multiple pharma and nutrition companies. When it comes to publications and research, he has 40 publications in international peer-reviewed journals, and he is also a PhD scholar. He has received many awards and travel grants. He is a famous YouTuber. His channel SS Childcare has 3 lakh subscribers. He has also authored Anandam Vilayadam Vida, a popular series on child health for 52 weeks in Tamil Nadu's leading magazine, Beginning. He has also anchored a program called Dr. Doctor and Star Vijay for more than 50 episodes. He has also participated in Ningalam Vellalam Orukodi Tamil version in 2012. We are privileged to have you here, sir. Our next guest of honor and panelist is Ms. N.G. Sridevi, She is working as Deputy Manager at State Bank of India, Vanagaram branch. She holds a postgraduate degree in commerce. Before joining in SBI, she was working as a private concern as an accountant. With consistent effort and hard work, she joined a State Bank of India in the year 2010 as a clerk, and she became an officer in the year 2017. Despite of her hearing impairment, she is working as a frontline staff and handling a branch. We are proud and honored by your presence, ma'am. Today, we are privileged to have an opportunity to listen to all our panelists. On behalf of all gathered here, I welcome you all for this session. I thank management and department for giving me this honor of introducing today's panelists. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Revati ma'am, for the glorious introduction of the chief guest today. Now, I would like to invite our Honorable Dean, Department of English, Dr. Mary Thomas ma'am, to moderate this session.
A very pleasant morning. Am I audible to all of you? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You are.
A very pleasant morning to all gathered here, the eminent members of the panel and speakers. See, we are having a panel discussion on the wonder tools to fight against COVID-19. And it's organized by the Department of English, initiated by Dr. MGR University. And I'm so honored to have all these three eminent speakers in our midst. And I think we would go in this order. We would have the voice from the medical field speak to us first, because we all are awaiting to hear what he has to tell us. As we all know, COVID or coronavirus is a nightmarish reality we as human beings face today. It has shattered the whole world and gripped the whole nation in fear. And we feel like we are battling an unseen enemy, which we cannot see, but is there amongst us. And I find it in a hilarious way, like watching a Bruce Lee film, you know, when you watch the Bruce Lee fight, he's fighting blindfolded. He has the weapons and the tools with him, but he's fighting blindfolded because he cannot see the enemy. And I would really love Dr. Dhanashekhar Kasivelu to tell us about why this situation has landed in our nation. And one more very important aspect is we are battling with this unseen enemy in a blind manner. So the market and the market, I find, is flooded with all kinds of immunity boosters, and every day we swallow all kinds of concoctions to boost our immunity. But does all this really help to fight this unseen enemy that is amongst us and which is really ravaging our nation and the world? So, and is vaccination the only solution for our nation to enable us to fight and find a solution to this pandemic, which has really come upon this nation? And in the times of Jonah, we have to seek a solution. So how can we do this? So I would like our dear Dr. Dhanashekhar Kasivelu, the eminent doctor from Apollo Children's Hospital, to enlighten on how we are going to use these wonder tools to fight this unseen enemy today. So we will start with his perspective.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Can I have the screen access, please?
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir.
No, ma'am, I need the screen access. It says host disabled.
Okay, okay. Priyadarshini, Revati.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Just a minute, ma'am.
Give access to sir.
Okay, while we're giving access, I think I was first of all, thank you, all of you, for coming in this morning. So I don't think I'm going to give you another didactic, boring lecture and a lot of speculation. I think there's going to be a lot of positivity in today's talk, because the most important things, what I wanted to focus on is what you asked me, the wonder tools in the management of COVID-19. Because I think there are a lot of things that I'm just trying to put together. It's just basically like a cricket team with all the members together and all the participants together. What I would like to see is to try and show what has actually gone on in the last 1 year, or 1.5 years as we're coming to it, or nearly 2 years as it will come March 2022. Now, there are a lot of things that were spoken about me, but what has really kindled my interest is to talk to a non-medical fraternity or a participating community to give them an insight into what actually is going on and what are the wonder tools that you may actually want to know about and use. So before I start my talk, just once again remaining them to give me the screen access, please, if you can, then we can.
Yes, sir. Priyadarshini and Revati.
Yes, ma'am. I have informed, sir. Please
Sir,
just
We have given the host.
Right.
added, sir.
access to the screen.
Yeah, I got it now. I got it now.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
So basically, this is me, as you've already heard about me, because I don't want to actually talk much about myself. But the wonder tools to fight against COVID-19 are the most important thing. As you all know already, I don't think I'm going to actually emphasize on this particular thing. But nevertheless, the most important thing you need to understand is the awareness of COVID-19, the cleanliness and social distancing are the wonder tools to prevent corona infection. Now, what we understand from last year has actually virtually become extinct this year, because what are the things that we thought might actually work against COVID isn't working right now. And we know that there are only very particular things that have stood the test of time. The most important thing, again, is awareness and not to go with the myths that you hear on the internet or in WhatsApp University or all the PhD scholars who got it from social media. So basically, people try and understand COVID in their own perspective. I still think or strongly believe that there are some people who don't think COVID actually exists. But then saying that, now last year when we heard that somebody from a very far away place died, the second wave has shown us that we have actually lost a family member, a friend, someone in the community, or someone we know of. Now we understand that the third wave is going to come, and we're expecting the third wave to come in September, October. Now, getting back to reality and getting back to normality will be the most important things what mankind will try and understand. Let's say, for example, when we actually started, when we had the 9/11, that was basically when the Twin Towers were destructed by terrorists. Now we understand that air traveling has got a lot of restrictions. And all this during the time, we have adapted to that strategy in the last 10 years. And what we now know is basically in the last 10 years, air travel has to be this particular way. You're not allowed to carry 100 ml of liquid. You need to make sure your baggage is done. You know all the rules of traveling, and we have adopted to that. And I think that's what COVID is leading us to. Now, when we look at all this, basically, I'm trying to put together the wonder tools of COVID. The first wonder tool, I think, is respect. Now, what we understood in the last year, we've had a warlike preparation, which is really required on the health front. And when you look at this, now we understand what a frontline worker is. Now, people probably didn't know who a frontline worker is because the doctors and the nurses and everyone was just thought to be in the hospital alone. But we now have a very big extended role in actually educating the community and trying to help people to understand what and how you can prevent the illness. Right from that to coming to the vaccinations now, we have a lot of shoulder to give to bear the responsibility. And that basically what I'm trying to request to the community here today is to respect the saviors, because you know there has been a lot of history about violence against doctors, although touch wood, not much in the south, but in the north of India, you might have heard about all these things. And that's basically what will be the first one, respect the healthcare workers, and that will be the wonder tool number one. So now everyone knows and talks about frontline workers. That can be anybody. Workers are workers, whether you talk about your e-commerce guy who delivers food to your house or anybody who's actually trying to do, it include your maid, your driver, your security, your guy who sells the fruit and vegetables in the street, your nurses, doctors, anyone particularly. The second one is basically the wonder tool. What COVID has taught us is to set an early warning system. In the last 70 years, we need to understand that the world has actually changed. Now, there's one particular book, which, because I'm seeing a lot of young people here and a lot of veterans as well, this one particular book is something which I found very interesting to read. The book is called The Columbian Exchange, and this book is a wonderful book. Now, I tell you why this book is wonderful and why you might want to talk about Colombia. Now, Colombia is very famous for multiple things, for the landscapes, for the nature, for the beauty, for the drug lords, from the cartels to the coffee to the cigars. But this Columbian Exchange is basically what we understand when Columbus actually found America. There was a lot of migration of people from Europe going in the US. And during this time, there were a lot of lives actually lost. So the biology and basically the cultural problems during the year 1492 is what this book sets up. Now we understand that if this was something that we had knew before, that this virus could have very well controlled. Let me show you one picture. This is basically what happened when COVID-19 started. Wuhan, which was in the center, basically could have controlled the disease, but we didn't understand the extreme problems that this is going to give us. By the time the WHO announced this as the global pandemic, the virus had already spread all over the world. So the first failure was we had an early warning system that was a failure, and we didn't actually understand that human-to-human transmission and airborne transmission were two big things that was going to set off COVID-19 into a big pandemic since the 1919 Spanish flu pandemic. That's the second wonder tool. Now, the third one is social distancing. Why do people actually talk about social distancing? Now, look at this here. Now, what I would like to show you is basically this. Now, the first and foremost thing is the intimacy. It may be good and may reflect part of one's culture, but distancing without offending the other is the best. Now, when you look at this slide, this basically shows you different things. Now, when you have one person and that one person infects 2.5 people, there can be a multiplication rate of 406 people increase in about 30 days. And when one person gets infected, when there is less exposure, that is 50% less exposure, you can see in 30 days, the infected people comes down by 15, that is exactly half. And then you go to the third part and basically you see one person who's actually been in social distancing with another person who's actually infected, the exposure comes down by 75. And in 30 days, we have 2.5 people who are infected, and that comes down during that time. Now, let's look at social distancing. Now, social distancing is your choice. I'm sorry, I'm getting a screen overlap of somebody else. So social distancing is your choice. We need to understand a space gap of 6 feet in between two people. Now, if social distancing is not adopted, you can see that people are going to get buried 6 feet below the ground. And this is the reality. And unfortunately, being a doctor and having seen a lot of patients the second wave, we understand that this is going to be a big calamity or even a big catastrophe, because that's what we've seen. The pandemonium of COVID crisis in our own city has shown you what has been going on in the last 2 months' time, when we've lost so many lives and we don't really know exactly what the numbers are, but saying that still we understand there has been a lot of fatalities. May all those souls rest in peace. Now, let's look at this. Our Prime Minister Modi actually started Swachh Bharat. Now, this was a scheme that was started in the year 2009, but then basically what happened is it was properly launched. Now, we understand that Swachh Bharat comes with Mahatma Gandhi's glasses as the logo, which says that the most important thing is cleanliness. And in the Wonder Tool 4, we'll know what that actually means, because it has really shown us the most important thing, how you can stop spreading the virus in the community. So that's my Wonder Tool number 4. So the point I want you to take home is, please be wise and hand sanitize. And here's to just show you an example, which I really like this ad. What I can see is basically, you can see the number of hands that are hanging on from hand railings and how many hands that have been in contact with this infection and how you can stop or arrest the spread of COVID-19. Now, my next take is basically a guideline. That's the wonder tool number 5, a guideline for at-risk people. Now, in our community or any community per se, you can see there are 4 categories of people who are at risk. Number 1 is the elderly. Number 2 is the people with comorbidities. And number 3 is children with chronic disease. And last but not the least, India does suffer from a big pandemic more than COVID, which is nutritional issues. And that can basically be either malnutrition, or you can see children who actually have comorbidities as well. Now, looking at this, what we understand is these are the particularly at-risk people who need to be isolated. Now, why should we isolate? For all the young people who are watching this, I have just put a small box in the right bottom, shows I finished Netflix today, because there are so many people who wouldn't want to come out of their house. But just to show you a cinematic example, I can show you 2 characters which have been very famous. And in fact, both the characters are about 15 years apart. You can see Neelambari from Padayappa on the left side and Sivagami from Bahubali on the right side. And Neelambari was the one who actually self-isolated. She understood the situation. She stayed inside a room. She isolated herself from everyone. And Neelambari stayed several feet away from people. So I would suggest and advise all of you to be like Neelambari. But what happens if you are Sivagami? Now, the problem here is when you are basically a queen like Sivagami, the basic problem is that she was the one who said Namate Sasanam, which basically means that she was on top of everything. She kept on roaming outside. She conducted a big festival gathering in Bahubali 2 opening scene, as all of you know, when Prabhas tried to stop an elephant. And she only isolated from Bahubali, from everyone. She didn't isolate herself. So please don't be like Sivagami and be like Neelambari, and that's basically where the whole thing goes. Now, when you look at the second or the 6th wonder tool, that's basically self-dependence, we need to understand there's a lot of work that has gone on in the last 1.5 years. We have our own Indian research and development, and we understand that we need our own R&D. And that's one of the wonder tools, what we have shown the world from a country like us, which is so big with a population of more than 130 crores. And what we can show, what we can give is what I'm trying to show you as a wonder tool 6. And basically we have shown the world that we can make Covishield and collaborate. And Serum Institute India is the world's largest manufacturer, and we supply vaccines practically to every part of the world. The second one is the indigenous vaccine Covaxin, which has been produced by Bharat Biotech in Hyderabad, which has shown the world that we can make our own. And the most recent launch of 2DG, which has been in collaboration with Dr. Reddy's laboratory and along with DRDO. Now, as you can see here, Covishield or Covaxin, I'm not going to get in the debate because that is something which has been discussed extensively very well. The next one is 2DGE, and the third one is basically the DRDO's manufacturing more than 70 made in India products to fight COVID-19 in the last 1.5 years. Now, the most important thing we need to understand that we have a whole plethora of wealth, and we have shown the world what we can do as a big country, and that makes it wonder tool number 6. Wonder tool number 7, survival of the fittest, learn and learn it to adapt. Now, the things which have actually gone on and taken over in the last 1 year has been number 1, web learning. Number 2, virtual education, which is what we are basically doing right now. And I feel that we have gone 4 to 5 years ahead of our times. I think if COVID had not happened, technology would have probably been a bit slow. We are made to understand that virtual learning is very, very important. So my take on this in the bold letters I can show you on the screen is we befriended technology and there is no going back now. Why is that important? You can see all these virtual meetings here. You can talk about Zoom, Skype, and basically there's a lot of things that has actually changed over a period of time. Now, what we understand that basically for those of you who find that Zoom to be a new platform, it was quite interesting because Zoom was actually found and invented in the year 2011. So even well before Zoom had actually started, this basic whole concept of virtual e-learning was there. And now this is actually escalated to the next level, and now we are entirely dependent on virtual platforms to learn. Wonder tool number 8, loving nature. So this picture shows you the beauty of nature. Of course, there's no social distancing, so leave that part. But then you can see a lovely family together, the grandmother, the grandchildren, the mother and the father, all going on for a walk. Now, this is basically what COVID has taught us: love nature. I'm sure all of you have appreciated, for those of you students who have woken up early in the morning, the chirping of the birds, the lovely noise of the wind, and the no noise of traffic, and the silence has all given us a lot of peace of mind and maybe less stress if you've been out. And that's basically what my take here would be. When your world gets small, nature lets us live large. And that's basically the take-home point, wonder tool number 8. Wonder tool number 9, which is something related to me and you, because I'm sure practically a lot of people have actually used telemedicine in the last 1.5 years. The benefits of telemedicine have become indisputable. So people who have actually had to go to the hospital to get their investigations or to see the doctors, telemedicine has actually become an inevitable part, an indisputable part. And that's the most important part of online learning and virtual education and understanding. Now, the next thing, what I would say the last but never the least of all the wonder tools, is basically this. You can see we have unleashed a revolution in medicine, and that's basically working together. We understand, let's say, for example, the vaccine Covishield was actually designed, produced, tested, and was found in Oxford, and that's what is called as the Oxford strain. But the most important thing, what supplies and who supplies the vaccine to all over the world, is basically from Pune. So that is basically working together. I think as doctors, we have all come together and shown the world sharing knowledge is the most important thing. And that is the most important thing, because I can manage my patient who lives very far away, somewhere in the US or Europe, and that patient can be managed very easily in India. And we have started to work together. And that's the beauty of the wonder tool number 10. I think this is my take, and this is what I wanted to share with you all this morning. The wonder tools of managing COVID-19 in a nutshell, in a very precise and a concise form. I think the discussion has to flow, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions from anybody here in this forum who's listening to the conversation. And to end and conclude, I would like to give my acknowledgements to the university, Mrs. Chandrasena, and my staff of my clinic who have actually stood with me in the last 1 year in fighting COVID, who have promptly taken all the vaccinations when I told them to. And we are very welcome to see any child in our clinic. And that's my YouTube channel for those of you who want to follow it. It's entirely on pediatrics and child health. Now, that's one thing, but what I wouldn't want to, or what I don't know is, and I heard a lot of names during the talks, but I really don't know a lot of you who are actually present, listening to my talk. But I think it's a wonderful place and a lovely forum to meet people and to talk and share thoughts as a doctor, as a common man, as a father, and perhaps probably an uncle to a lot of children as well. So that's basically my take on COVID. But then that one last picture, which I would like to show you, is working together. And that's my take on COVID. And there you can see that one gloved hand who was a frontline healthcare worker, and the next person without a glove, but a bandage in the hand, is a patient who would like to work together very close to our hearts. And that's basically what we would like to share, give, and relish the world, that medicine is for everyone. Medicine is a common man's thing. It has shown the world a lot of things, what medicine can give you as a career, and also something that you can sustain and the world will live on. Thank you very much to all of you. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, sir. It was such a wonderful, enduring way in which you reached out to each and every one of us here, the children, the youngsters, and the adults as well. And there was so much of clarity and structure in what you had to say, Dr. Dhanashekhar Kesavelu. And your perspective was very interesting because you had made it so structured and you had given interesting aspects of all the wonder tools that we can use to fight against this unseen enemy, the coronavirus. We thank you so much for being here with us. And we welcome any questions from the panel viewers,
Students and faculty.
the spectators of the panel discussion. If you have any questions, you can ask Dr. Danasekar Kasavelu, because I think he's really a real fountain of enlightenment.
I can see two questions, ma'am. If I'm happy to take them, ma'am. There's two questions I can read here. The first question is, sir, I think third wave will affect. That's basically what they're trying to say. Yes, the third wave will definitely come. There is no doubt about it. So for those of you who think that third wave is not going to come, I don't think Corona is going to disappoint you. It's going to come very soon. And I'll tell you why. The reason is very simple, because a pandemic basically never ends until everyone gets vaccinated. We have to embrace and adopt strategies. Apart from washing your hands and wearing a mask and saying social distance is going to be the mandatory thing, the most important thing one has to understand is basically the third wave may be worse than the second. But the third thing is, the most important thing is we need to try and safeguard everyone at home. What we have seen in the second wave is basically in the second wave because of quite a lot of youngsters being affected. A lot of my children's parents have been affected. The younger brothers and sisters have been affected. A lot of lives lost to people under the age of 40 is what has happened in the second. So definitely yes. Next question was, please enlighten about double mask over single mask. Now the answer to the question is very simple. I think you have to look at life. No money, less money, more money, rich. Now, the basic concept of life is wear an N95 mask that is going to make you rich, because it's going to filter out 95% particles. Double mask, of course, if you're going to start university, I think you should not wear a double mask. You should wear a 3-ply mask, and basically you should also wear a basic cloth mask on top of it so that you're double masked. So double masking is definitely important, and that is going to answer probably the next question. Somebody actually asked me, is India overpopulated? Yes, of course, India is overpopulated, there's no doubt about it. The reason is very simple, because if you look at population strategies, the population is actually extensive and quite big and expanding over time. And that's basically what is actually happening. Revati has asked me a question, a very good presentation, sir. Is that true that the third wave is going to affect children a lot? Revati, ma'am, the answer to the question is it's pure speculation. We don't really know whether third wave is going to affect children, but one has to be very, very careful. Very careful, because if you've got children at home, if you have not been vaccinated, you are the one who's going to transfer kids. So please try and understand that if you're not vaccinated, if you're not keeping yourself safe, and if you're not being vaccinated, the infection is going to. Vaccination is a must. Anyone above the age of 18, unless advised by a medical professional, should not have the vaccination. So please, please, please get it done. There is just one more question in the chat that I can see. Dr. Kamal Krishna Banik, MD, PhD, has asked a very complicated question. ARDS, and I think that's too scientific, sir. For can you answer that question? Is there a way to protect pregnant women at that time? Well, there's three schools of thought. One, first thing, if you're planning to get pregnant, postpone it. First thing, get vaccinated, postpone your planning for some time. That's number one. Number two, if you're pregnant, there is going to be guidelines coming from the Federation of Obstetrics and Gynecology Surgeons in India. And the guidelines are going to be very clear that the mothers who are pregnant will also need to have the COVID vaccine. Number three, if you're lactating, you must and should have the COVID vaccine, and that's very, very important. Number four, if you're planning to get married, I think you should get vaccinated first before you get married, for the very simple reason, because that is not going to stop you from getting an infection, and you ensure that your partner is vaccinated as well. I hope I can make myself a bit more clear if anybody's got any more questions, but I think at the moment there are no more questions here right now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. So there are more questions to Dr. Danasekar?
Yes, ma'am. I want to share about sir, doctor. Actually, I can't thank very much, sir, because I asked you to come and join this webinar and asked them to, as a resource person, you have to do all those things. But immediately, sir said, okay, ma. So this is the awareness to awareness
to the people. Immediately, sir said, okay, I thank you very much to sir, doctor. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you for that very endearing and enlightening talk and perspective. Thank you so much, and for answering all our questions very patiently. And so now we move on to the next panel member, Madam N.G. Sridevi, Manager of State Bank of India. And dear Madam, we know that our country is going through a big upheaval, upheaval in the sense, the economic upheaval of our country, with mass and unemployment and industries, all kinds of industries suffering because of this pandemic, which has suddenly struck. And as everyone knows, the world has changed and is going to remain that way for a very, very long time, and I think for always. So the industries that have suffered, there are so many small scale industries that have suffered, and so many people have lost jobs, and they're not able to really be there for their families. And we find that the people who have suffered more are the daily income wage owners and the common man. So we would like your take on what the banks of India are doing for these kind of people who are really suffering because of this coronavirus pandemic, and you being a great inspiration for all the youngsters today, of having come up from the real basic echelons of commerce and economics to such a post, to become the manager of State Bank of India, is quite an achievement. And I think you should enlighten us on what we people can do, because the common man is suffering and there is mass unemployment. And all the industries, even hoteliers, the airlines, all these industries which were once, booming, the resorts and all these, most of the industries, the shops, where people had to close down shops because they had no sales. So all these things, we would like you to enlighten us on your perspective of how the banks of India are going to help these common people to really tide over this pandemic. Over to Madam N.G. Sridevi.
Good morning, all. I thank Chandrasena Bab for giving me this opportunity to speak about the pandemic situation in banking sector and recognizing us as a COVID variants. Thank you. It is a financial pull down in the economic pull down in the society, actually. Sudden pandemic situation made the public more panic about, because they rush to the bank in crowds. What to say? People are affected by finance. Financially, they are affected by losing their jobs and reduction in salary. And most of the entrepreneurs lost their business in pandemic due to the stoppage of business. So many impacts are there. But before that, we educated our customer to make use of optimum utilization of our alternate channels of banking, like ATM, internet banking, etc. In internet banking, they have so many opportunity for not visiting the branch, like checkbook by raising request for checkbook, transfer of bank from one branch to another, and also to raise loans. And in the pandemic situation, not only for the deposit customer, we also supported the loan customer in the first wave, that is in 2019, by giving deferment in their loans. Their loans are deferred, and they are not. And also in this pandemic, we advise the customers, all the loan customers, for restructuring their loan, as this is the opportunity to recover recover them from this pandemic situation. Recently, we are giving that Kavach, a loan named Kavach. This loan is given to the salaried customers as well as non-salaried customers, and we have to make awareness among the public about this loan, because persons who all spend money for their treatment from their own pockets can avail this loan for the money spent for their hospitalization expenses and all. The maximum amount of loan is 5 lakh and the term period is 60 months. The rate of interest is 8.5%. And then in the meanwhile, I would like to inform that alert the customer that what to say, that so many messages or alerting them by for the updation of KYC and all. We advise all the customers and non-customers not to click such links for the prevention of their accounts, for protecting their accounts, because if they click the link means money is swept away from their accounts. And once again, I thank you all for giving me such an opportunity. If you have any queries, please come ask me.
Thank you, Sridevi ma'am, for that very short and sweet way in which you said that, you know, the ways and means to prop up this collapsed economy and to help the common man. Thank you so much. I wish that, you know, many people would come up with their questions now to Sridevi ma'am about the wonder tools that the banks are starting to fight this pandemic. Do you have any questions to Sridevi ma'am?
You please text me, ma'am.
Yes,
any questions
please
you
text
can.
the question to Sridevi ma'am because she can answer.
One of the best source of withdrawing the money without using your ATM card is in internet banking. There is an app called YONO app. You can utilize that app for withdrawal of money. The limit for that withdrawal is 20,000 per day. Okay, it is more safety than ATM card, because ATM card may be scammed. But this YONO Cash, you have to make request with an OTP from your internet banking by using that YONO app, and you can withdraw the money from ATM. There is no overseeing of your ATM pins. It is more secure way of withdrawal. And also we have introduced a system of positive payment system in our bank. What is that is? So many frauds are happening in check payment system. So customers are informed about this positive payment system. This positive payment system deal with what is the maximum amount of check presented for the payment. If say for example, if a customer has given an instruction for rupees 5 lakh means above 5 lakh or 5 lakh and above, the message already we are sending messages for the alertness. This will be fed in the system also. Internally in internet banking, they are advised us to pass the check or not to pass the check. So this creates some awareness among the customers that they have issued a check or not. Sometimes without their knowledge, check has been issued and money has been withdrawn and frauds has been taken place. So to protect the customer from the frauds, this may be used by the customers. These are all the recent tools introduced in the banking for withdrawals and check processing system.
I think that was very clear of how we can avoid fraud happening. Very good. Very, very well explained, ma'am. Thank you so much. Are there any more questions from the audience? She's taken a time off, like doctor, to come here.
And also we request the customers to be, it is a wonder tool regarding this pandemic is to wear mask, self-awareness about this pandemic situation, because self-discipline is the only best tool because if they wear mask, if they sanitize well, if they maintain social distancing means, there is necessity means they can visit the branch in person, because most of the facilities are available in the online system. Alternate channels of banking, we are having most of the facility. So please make use of those facility and avoid visiting branch for frequent visits of branch for petty things.
Yes, thank you. Yes, ma'am. That's
For
true.
taking passbook entries. In internet banking, they can raise requests through YONO, checkbook request, ATM card request. Likewise, they can request on their own. So for these petty things, they may not visit the branch for creating FDs, rollovers. So many things are maximum. Most of the bank books are available in the internet banking facility. So maximum utilization of that facility will reduce the crowd step walk-ins in the branch.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Wonderful explanation you have given.
Okay, ma'am. Thank
Facilities
you
are
all for
available.
listening. Thank you.
Thank you for telling us, because as we all know, technology has developed in
Careful
such a
face.
way. All the facilities available at our
Bank.
fingertips. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sridevi, ma'am. And next we have a person from the law and justice, a defender of law and justice, a no ordinary person, Mr. S. Ravichandran. Is sir here? Mr. S. Ravichandran, the sub-inspector of police at St. Thomas Mount. Is sir here? That a voice from law and justice. He's the third panel member.
Sir?
The third panel member, Sir Ravichandran. A very important voice from defense and law.
Sir is called for duty.
Okay. So he's not
present here.
So see,
We have called
Earlier
our
I told ma'am, at any time if he gets cold means he move away.
Okay.
Sorry for not being a
all
part
right,
of this
it's all right.
program. He
Because,
missed it, I
yes.
feel.
Yeah, as you people have taken your wonderful time off and been here with us, and sir has been called for duty, and all the frontline workers, we thank all the frontline workers, and the respect are due to all doctors, nurses, paramedical staff, and everyone who work day and night to ensure our safety, and also the banking staff, as well as the people who ensure and defend law and justice, because they are called upon to duty at any time. And thank you for being there for us. Thank you for being there for us and coming here this morning. Thank you so much. So I think we have a panel discussion now, and
yes,
over to Chandrasena ma'am and Priyadarshini and Revati.
Yes, ma'am. I'm thankful to our chief guest of the day, Dr. Dhanasekaran sir and Sridevi ma'am. And in fact, when she has informed me about the non-availability of Mr. Ravichandran sir, I have informed one of our students to represent the student community, how the hardship has affected them, what exactly is their perspective to share with us. So you can ask one of our students to share their perspective, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. So I think we can call for the student.
Yes, Darshini is.
Darshini, first MA. I think she
Yes.
wants to speak and she wants to voice her views on what students have to say about the coronavirus pandemic, which has come to stay and change the world. Yes, Darshini, over to you.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I'm just going to talk about the ramifications of COVID-19 on the youngsters and children. And this is just my personal take on it. I'm going to talk about various aspects like mental health, social life, education, and physical fitness. When it comes to mental health, we know that we are in a lockdown right now, and we are contained by 4 walls most of the time, and youngsters are dealing with their own issues, and they don't get to talk about it often. And with not having the benefit of outside world, it gets tough at times. And it's not just youngsters. I think everybody else is dealing with the same problem. Personally, I think there are several stuffs we could do to battle that, like art therapy and music therapy. Whatever is your cup of tea, you can do it. And I would implore you to have an open communication between the parents and the student, like children, parents and the like youngsters. Have an open communication. There is something called dining table therapy. That is, you would while you sit at the table for dinner, just make it a habit that you dine every day, at least once in a day, with your family, and have an open communication, so that nothing stays in the dark forever, so that if somebody gets a sight of you, what you're undergoing, you would not be alone in that. And this is, and also get sunlight every day. I know with the lockdown, it is almost impossible to get sunlight. At least get outside for a minute in the, like, when your streets are empty, just when your home is, when you're on your own, try to get 5 minutes of sunlight. Vitamin D is very important. So, and I'll also talk about education system. Now with the online classes, I would really like to thank our college. We have various opportunities available, even despite of not having face-to-face communication at times. But there are several other education communities where they don't have these opportunities. And it also, with the present 10th and 12th public examinations happening online, or there is with it being cancelled all over, this social stigma has started to come about, where they call this COVID batch, and everything that they have worked hard for is gone unnoticed. We usually put them up to, you're a COVID batch student, so you are not going to know this. And I think that should be avoided, because that would also take a toll on the kids' mental health. And I would implore you to be aware of that. And when I would like to social life, I think with the COVID and with lockdown, social life, that is the fine line between the reality and virtual reality has faded. The usage of social media has gone about has multiplied. At least 90% of people are using social media. I don't question that. I think it's necessary now to have some type of connection with the outside world, even if it's virtual. But then try to take a break 5 or 6 minutes, 10 minutes or break from it. Don't get sucked into it totally. And because nobody is going to question you if you need a break, you take the break. And education system, and then the social life also. Try to find your own coping mechanisms. With you being in your own comfort in the home, there is ample amount of time available at your hands. Try to read books, try to find your own passion, do new things. Personally, I like to do some things that I feel comfortable with. I've developed some new skills, and you won't know until you try it. So try your hands in several different things. You would be surprised at what you're good at, and then that would be your savior in the end of the day. So please try to do that. And I would and the future of the youngsters has been a biggest question mark by far, because with the online classes and with everything being virtual, we don't know when we'd be connected to the past or the past reality, and we are not even aware if this is our new normal. But despite all that, I urge you to be aware. I urge you to be empathetic, and whatever the future brings on, let's stay together, and then let's face it together. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Darshini.
Nice, Darshini. That is a strong
voice.
voice.
I could hear the collective voice of the students in your voice.
A very optimistic note, and really, leading on the youngsters and the student community to find their own niche, and to really be optimistic about what is happening to them, and the questionable future of their academic achievements. Thank you so much, Darshini. And I thank the panel members who are present here, and also Ravichandran sir, who was not able to come here because of he had to go and he had to attend to the call of duty. We thank you all for being here this lovely, pleasant and warm morning. Thank you, each one of you. And I really hope that we have learned so much about the wonder tools that will help us to fight this pandemic, which is going to be an ongoing battle. Thank you all. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Dhanasekaran sir and Ms. G. Sridevi ma'am, to enlightening us about the various wonder tools in various fields.
We thank our Darshini also.
And I would like to thank Darshini for enlightening us about the situation of students during this pandemic situation. Now I would like to call upon Dr. K. Katpagavadivu ma'am, Deputy HOD of our department, to deliver vote of thanks.
Happy New Year to all. It is a privilege and a great joy for me to extend a vote of thanks to all the good souls who contributed to making this panel discussion on wonder tools to fight against COVID-19 a grand success. I'd like to thank Dr. A.C. Shanmugam, Founder Chancellor, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar, Honorable President, for the greatest support and guidance. Our sincere gratitude to Dr. C.P. Pangalavedu, Registrar, Dr. Malini Pandey, Joint Registrar, HN, for extending their constant support. I wish to place my sincere thanks to Dr. L. Ramesh, Dean Evans, and Dean P. Devaraj, Joint Registrar, E&S, for their encouragement. I would like to thank Dr. R. Pushkala Dimitri Seminary, Dr. Mary Thomas, Dean English, and Dr. M. Chandrasena Rajeshwaran, Head Department of English. At the outset, I would like to thank the guest speakers, Mr. R. Ravichandran, Inspector of Police, Dr. Dhanasegar Keshavedu, Pediatric Gastroenterologist, Apollo Children's Hospital, Chennai, Mrs. N.G. Sridevi, Manager, State Bank of India, for their presence. I wish to thank the heads, faculty members, and dear students for their active participation. Before concluding, let me express our sincere appreciation to the organizing committee. Through this discussion, we came to know that the importance of wearing masks and maintaining social distancing are the wonderful tools to overcome this pandemic situation. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am, for delivering the vote of thanks. The feedback form has been posted in the chat box. Kindly fill the feedback form to get the certificates.
Making this event a success, ma'am. Okay. Shall we wind up, ma'am? For feedback. Yeah, organizers. Ma'am, we'll wind up, huh?